pourquoi pas, Chat,
Pourquoi pas, hein.
Catrice, Marseille, a réussi à isoler chaud. Ah, par contre,
아쉽죠 이번 점수가
빠지긴 했습니다만 앞라인 옆으로 마무리는 쉽지 않죠.
안 돼요.
Continuing to be a threat under pressure. They dealt the honor, but oh, there's Krong.
와! 주먹은 건너자.
그쵸.
와! 냈네!
아니
Alrighty, welcome back. We are making record pace right now for the APAC broadcast. It's not even 7:30 here in Korea, and we are getting ready to go into our final series of the night, and this one should very much deliver on the hype. NYXL getting ready to go up against the Guangzhou Charge.
Yeah, NYXL versus Guangzhou Charge. When you look at the three matches we had tonight, like they all looked like they could be as close as this one. The first two we now know. Spoiler alert, did not go that way.
Didn't go that way.
But I think this one should deliver. I'm not trying to jinx it or anything. I think Guangzhou could definitely take some maps off New York, who come in as very slight favorites, but I'd say very,
Really?
very slight. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
I would say that Guangzhou comes into this being a slightly favored, actually.
Wow. Let's talk about the NYXL starting lineup, because I know you teased it earlier.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
up on
there's
screen.
some changes.
Yeah.
We got Libero back in the starting lineup for the NYXL. I know that Super's going to be happy. I know that a lot of Libero fans out there are going to be ecstatic to see. He is going to be alongside Nene. And Hangzhou will still be fielded, but he is going to be in the support role alongside Jonak.
Yeah, so it's not like we haven't really seen this that much in the Overwatch League this year, but it's not a crazy surprise that Hangzhou is going to be in this in the Brigitte role, because Brigitte used to be a DPS role. If you're new to Overwatch League, you didn't watch last year. You're like, you only watched Season 1, and now you're watching Season 3. Brigitte was a DPS character in professional play, and now...
essentially, yeah.
I mean...
Just a half and half, you know?
I mean, you literally no non-DPS players played her. So you now, are looking at Hangzhou, who made Rookie of the Year basically on almost exclusively Brigitte last year. It just makes sense to have him on this role when New York has looked hit or miss sometimes on the hero, and it allows Jonak to play Zinyan no matter what, because he's played it a few times. I like this lineup a lot, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Libero can do now that he's finally back.
Yeah, it's really good to see Libero back on the lineup here. I know a lot of people have been missing him. I myself, when you have him and Hangzhou on the same roster and you're slotting them into DPS, it's so hard to choose between the two of them because they are both so damn good. But this is that nice little alteration. Put Hangzhou in, let him play the Brigitte. And maybe some other stuff. I expect that he's going to be pretty well practiced on just about every pick that he could possibly bring out here. But it's more than likely going to be that Brigitte. I know Jane's going to be upset about it, but it's fine. He's still very good. Don't worry, Jane.
That's a throwback.
But yeah, it's a nice little change. And you and I were kind of talking about this when we had first seen the roster, and we fully expect that more teams will probably start doing this if they don't feel like their Brigitte from their support players is quite up to snuff.
Yeah, and there's a few teams, I'm not going to name any names, that you do feel that way a little bit. On the other side of things for Guangzhou Charge, it's going to be Eileen and Happy on the starting lineup, so not a big shocker there. Rio and Krong for the tank line, and Chara and Shu to round things out. So, pretty much what you'd expect to see from Guangzhou Charge, given the situation with Neptuno right now and Nero. So, this pretty much is the roster. Krong has looked phenomenal as of late on the Sigma though, so I'm really looking forward to looking at how he performs versus Hoppa, who's been a little bit hit or miss as of late on the hero, and I think that's really the big mismatch for New York is, can Hoppa live up to Krong, because Krong is killing it right now.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, Krong has been a lot more consistent, like you said, extremely hit or miss for Hoppa. He has those hot streaks where he is just popping off, he's destroying everybody, and you're like, oh my god, this is one of the best pickups that NYXL could have ever gotten. And then he has those lows where you're like, oh my god, why did NYXL pick up this guy? Not necessarily, us saying that, but just the Reddit threads.
I would never say that about
the
Hoppa.
the Twitterverse, all of the people who go to the the very extremes of arguments and whatnot. But yeah, I mean he does have a lot of inconsistency, so needs to be on top of his game today if they want to take down Guangzhou Charge. Because like I said, I think that Guangzhou coming into this matchup is slightly more favored to find success. Could be wrong. We'll see which one of us is correct by the end of this. But either way, I'm just hoping for a close series regardless of who wins.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of strengths and weaknesses on both sides, right? Like, you look at the lineups, and unfortunately, at this exact moment in time, even though there were times of last year where he was better, Happy is much better than Nene. Like, Nene had his great moments last year, especially at the beginning of the season, but and when he was playing Widow every now and then. But right now, Happy is the much stronger Widow player. And in terms of flex, like, I think Libero has that advantage. You look at the main tanks. Mano has had like pretty bad last few games. So I mean, I almost want to give that up to Rio. You look at the tank line in general, like it's Krong is going to crush Hoppa, you think. But then you have Huxall, like the Brigida specialist versus Chara and Shu. Chara has had his moments for sure on the Brigida. He's shut down a lot of really cool EMPs. So it's hard to say like Huxall's extremely favored there, but there are some mismatches between these teams, right? And I do wonder, like, if this comes down to the tank line, then you might be right, and maybe Guangzhou Charge runs away with this one. But I think it's going to be close. My money is on New York. I mean, not just figuratively. I didn't actually put money on this match. Got to be careful,
Good.
With that one.
Very good.
But
I'm the head of the ethics department, so I'm making sure that you haven't done that.
Yeah, no, I haven't done that. But
all right, well,
figuratively speaking,
we're still waiting. Yeah. Still waiting for everybody to get settled in the lobby. We will be starting on Nepal, worth mentioning here. So I'm interested to see what the exact compositions are going to be moving in, especially when we get to a map like Sanctum and seeing what these guys want to run. Widowmaker isn't the most common there, so I'm expecting to see Nene likely going over towards something like the Tracer and playing that. But at the same time, then you start questioning, well, then why isn't Sabiobi in if you want to run that? So
it's because we're going to see Ashe too, I think.
Probably more than likely, but they're changing things up. Are the NYXL? We'll see if this is going to end up paying off for them. And I'm mostly interested in seeing how Huxall performs in a situation where the Brigida is not going to be the best option. How is his Baptiste?
Yeah,
like that
exactly.
Kind of thing. What is he going to be able to flex over to, and how strongly can he perform on it?
That's the big question mark, because there's no doubt that of all the Brigida players in this server, because there are a few of them, because everyone's had to flex a little bit. Huxall is by far the strongest at his peak last year, but he hasn't played it this year. He hasn't played in a long time. He's been playing regular good old DPS characters. We're talking about Brigida being a DPS because she was playing the DPS role last year before Rollock existed, and that was when she was, of course, technically classified as support in pro play. We had a lot of crazy stuff. Like in the past, we had support Sombra, we had flex tank Sombra as well. There's a lot of weird roles like that if you've only watched Overwatch recently, you're like, what? But that was kind of how it was back then. Not so much anymore. But, it's going to be interesting to see, because I do want to see how his Baptiste plays. I have pretty high hopes, though. I think he's going to do well. I don't think he's going to be bad at it.
I mean, there's not really many things you could put Huxall on in this game where you expect him to not be able to perform well. I mean, you think about his flexibility throughout the history of his career. When he was on Runaway starting off, he actually did play a bit of support.
Yeah, he played Lucio
up
for a while.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of experience spread out around the different rosters and whatnot. So we'll see how it goes. But for now, no surprise. It's actually going to be Jonak on that Baptiste, and we will have Huxall on the Brigida.
And also no shocker that we have Libero on the Mei. This is one of the question marks. Huxall was in on Mei over Libero a lot of the time, but Who Are You had pretty weak Mei performances as of late. So when you think about putting Huxall off the roll, it's going to be Libero over Who Are You, unless it's going to be some sort of Genji play. And then he's on the Tracer as you predicted here for Sanctum. And Guangzhou is going to run the anti-Tracer with the Torp, but they're also going to try to run this Widowmaker. It's very tough to run this on this map in double shield because it's very difficult to get line of sight.
We'll see how Happy fares. He can normally weasel his way into line of sight. Hoppa going to be wrapping around the back, looking for some hits there on a shoe, but instead we'll just go ahead and move over towards the front of the point. And it already takes down Happy. Does get on top of it. Barriers coming out. Not going to be blocking the healing going through onto Rio, but there's just too much damage that doesn't even matter. The immortality build from Chara is a little bit too late to try and save him. Then he will move forward, cleans up a couple of those kills, gets the assists in, and Chara has to go off the side as NYXL have the first lockdown.
Huxall with a great start here. Obviously, him He's making a big impact on the Brigida, an extra barrier, a lot of extra healing in these longer fights. And because Guangzhou isn't running a Brigida, you know, you can see that the Zenyatta pick, comparatively, not finding the same amount of success here, despite Discord Orbs. This could be
This
bad.
is looking like, you know, the Brigida going to be working out because they want to get up in their face, but Happy does manage to find Hotba as he swaps over onto the Ashe off the Widowmaker. Can play a lot better in that mid-range fight, as well as up close and personal, but Rio gets frozen, Libero takes him down, so despite that initial kill coming through, it will just be Guangzhou Charge yet again shoved back towards the dropship.
I mean, Krong thought, I think, that they were going to play aggressive like that. That's why he was in that flank. He just got scouted. Like, if they actually just rush in and don't see him, he's in an amazing spot, except for a really nice flux, but they spot him early, so he looks foolish, you know, if you look, hindsight looking back.
Waiting for an opportunity to use the Pulse Bomb. Might go for the long wrap around the right side. Immortality Field from Chara going to be taken down, and Chara will follow suit shortly thereafter.
I mean, this is so hard for Guangzhou
just
to win.
Yeah, I mean, Mono he's just sitting on the corner. Happy gets a nice little flank angle to get some taps in. Tries to reroute NYXL. They will be pulling back, so they want to watch that flank, make sure that they don't have headshots coming in from the side. Now they'll start moving up. Flux going to be coming out from Hotba. Manages to catch Eileen. Will kill him in the air. With the spheres coming out. Mono barely surviving. Pulls down the bottom of the staircase. Starts re-advancing. Molten Core from Eileen. Manages to catch Libero. Rio will still fall. So a very scrappy one, but it's a 2-for-1 exchange now. 3-for-1 exchange.
And they can't touch!
In favor of Guangzhou, but they just can't touch. Oh no.
Oh no, indeed. Oh, they just did not realize they needed to rush over a little bit faster. Borderline.
Neither did I. I was just trying to follow the scrappiness of the fight. I didn't even look at the percentage.
I just thought someone was nearby. I guess they just were not. I mean, look, they got slowed super hard. Like, Mono was throwing out really nice halts. He got that mid-air kill. And then he slowed down their push a lot. They were trying to break through his barrier and kill him. They were playing a very technical team fight about like the best and fastest way to clean up every member on New York without realizing that they were so close to actually losing that first round. So great delay by New York. Near Charlie Niner, you could say, I guess, on the other side of things. But yeah, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, they finally broke through in the toughest team fight ever, where they had to use Molten Core, and New York had just been bludgeoning them repeatedly, but it just doesn't work in the end. Ouch.
Yeah, very brutal. Happy now back over onto the Widowmaker. Gets a nice little dink there onto Hotba. Gets another one onto Mono, who's in a bad spot. Chu will be able to go ahead and scoop the final blow. Nene managing to get a little bit of revenge. Beam coming out. The Immortality Field is there to go ahead and keep them in the fight. So Libero can't get the execution damage through. Point unlocked, and so far everybody playing quite far away from it. Libero dropping down will get cleaned up by Eileen. But again, finished off as he was playing up near the top. Nene and Mono come in, managed to scoop that kill. Point starting to get capped by NYXL. Guangzhou Charge. Do not move over to contest it yet. Want to wait until they have the full 6. Bob going to be coming out though as Nene goes ahead, starts the fight off. Dynamite through. Shu will get rid of Mono, but now Chara going to be gone. So operating with just one support. Has to stay glued into that Immortality Field, but he just cannot do it. He cannot heal himself with that right click, so gets taken down.
It's unbelievable.
And Nene is starting to look amazing with the Ashe.
It's unbelievable.
We know he's good, but he's popping right now.
I mean, look, the Mono was on Wrecking Ball, okay? And he was at like 10% health when the fight started. It was essentially a 5v6. But yeah, as you said, Nene was phenomenal. He hit the headshots. He also had a really nice dynamite into the Bob, which threatened a lot of the Guangzhou Charge, especially the tank line. They had to play back, which gave further sightlines to Nene. Happy, you know, trying to duel him on this Widow, but just not getting the sightlines he needs to be effective.
Oh, that final shot there would have taken down Mono. Can't quite get the head of Libero. So he will be forced to go ahead and peel back. Poison Trap to try to find him up on that high ground. Flux slams him down. Grecian goes through. On the front line here for the Guangzhou Charge. Falling quite low. Krom going to be using the Flux of his own. Hotba up in the air. Dropped in straight on top of the Immortality Field. It'll get finished off by Krong's Accretion. Now they start pushing into the members of the NYXL and cleaning them up. Hoxel's got nowhere to run. Gets mowed over. Will only lose out on Happy as Nene finds that kill, but this will be a flip. Guangzhou getting on the board for the first time.
Yeah, and it's a really nice, fast cap here, like only at 69. So they have only one ultimate, but they have this buffer zone as well, to where if New York takes this back in a quick retake, they may be, as long as it's a longer fight, they may be able to take it back from them once again. We're not looking at an 85-99 cap here or anything like that, so finally Happy also gets line of sight advantage. It's almost impossible to win a sniper duel even against an Ashe. You don't have any opportunities to fire at her head, but now he's got all the chances here, all the opportunities. He just has to use them.
And Matrix down on the point as NYXL move their way through. Gonna occupy this space. They'll push Rio back, draw him back in. Libero burning low here with the Orisa duplicate coming through. Tries to get the supercharger up, but just as he gains it, we'll go ahead and get knocked out of the duplicate. Sticky bombs coming in, but pushes a little bit too far forward, does Libero. And NYXL in the meantime, they have gotten that flip. They are ticking their way up now past 80%. Flux will buy them a little bit of extra time here from Hotba, but it doesn't lead to any kills yet. Shu is trying to keep his teammates alive using this Amp Matrix to go ahead and finish off Hoxel. And Guangzhou Charge will be able to get the foot back into their favor, starting now at 38%.
I mean, New York wasn't hoping they just weren't going to touch this time, but a little bit surprised we saw Hotba commit the Gravitic Flux there, because I don't know. I mean, that was a fight that it's hard to judge when you're in the thick of things. Obviously, we're kind of cheating. We're the observers. We're looking from the outside in, but that's a big ultimate to toss away when Guangzhou's now crossing the 50% threshold, and Grong's got his own.
So looking a little bit scary there for Chara. Instantly got melted down below half HP, but does manage to escape with the help of the shield bash. Happy just going to be kiting back. Has to wait on the coach gun before he can try to take any kind of high ground approach. Might just want to keep playing low as NYXL starts making their way in onto the point. The Maywall will come through. Looking to finish off Rio. Dynamite up over the top. Weakens Shu, forces him back. Turret is there trying to gate them out. Happy manages to find Nene. Things still looking decent here for the Guangzhou Charge. They get the flip back into their favor. NYXL currently having it. Now forcing out the OT as 2 kills come through. Char and Grong both going to be falling. Now Rio going to be gone. 1 support left. No tanks now. No Happy. Molten Core comes out. That gets them off the point. And NYXL will be able to take the first map of Nepal.
I mean, that was just better conservative play from Jonak. I believe that was a 6-man immortality field at the end of that fight that he tossed in when everyone was about at half health. And then they just were able to turn on the heat right then and there. Guangzhou had to use all their barriers to get to that point. So when they actually stepped in to take that fight after doing all that damage, they didn't have barriers anymore, and they had to shoot the immortality field, and everyone in NYXL just getting healed up by Jonak, and Guangzhou Charge just doesn't have an immortality field of their own. They have no survivability, and they end up dying there. And suddenly you see the kill feed just turn white from the New York Excelsior away colors there, and wow, what a crazy finish. New York looking pretty clean right now. And I don't know if we're going to see Hoxel subbed out. I think he might be here to stay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what the maps are going to be as we move deeper into this series and whether or not it's going to call for the Brigida. But based on what we've been seeing all throughout this weekend, it seems like Brigida can be run pretty much anywhere. So I happen to agree. It seems like Hoxel likely not going to be going anywhere. But a very strong start for NYXL. Guangzhou making it a bit more competitive in that second round, but they're going to need to do better if they want to tie up the set in map number 2, which is going to be coming up in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by HyperX. Unleash your style, unleash your fury. With HyperX Fury Memory.
Alrighty, we are back for the rest of this series. Guangzhou Charge versus the New York Excelsior, who are currently leading 1-0. Got a 2-0 victory on Nepal to start this set off. Guangzhou now going to be looking to tie things up as we get ready to move into our second map, which is going to be Temple of Anubis.
Yeah, a lot of Temple of Anubis today. We'll see if Guangzhou can bounce back here. I think, I don't know, I was talking to you about this in the break, and I was thinking this could be close, and you were saying after the first game, you were like, well, there's no way in my mind. I'd be really surprised if this ends up being a 3-0, but I don't know. I mean, New York's looking clean, and we might be having more 3 Overwatch tonight. I hope not. I hope not. I mean, this is a team that can run really solid dive. Guangzhou can. So can New York, especially if you think of like their whole extended roster.
Yeah.
Including Who Are You. Like, we could have a world where we've got Libero, Who Are You, and Hoxall in the game all at once. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're just going to stick with these rosters. Yeah. I hope that Guangzhou just tightens up a little bit of their play. Because they're not making a lot of mistakes. This is not like what we were seeing from Chengdu earlier, where you're looking at the game thinking, wow, like, you know, there are some issues here, right? It feels more like the first map of the first series, where you're like, well, what are you going to do? It's Shanghai. They're so good. And yeah, here we are, same lineup. I mean, Who Are You is a Brigida player, was a Brigida player too for a little while, but nah, I don't think we're.
Yeah, when he came back into contenders in what was it, season 3, I believe. He was unfortunately stuck on the Brigida. You know, we were really excited, like, oh, the Genji God returns, and
there was no Genji to be seen ever.
So just never got the opportunity to touch that at all. But yeah, I mean, there is always that possibility that they would maybe want to change things up and have him in the roster here, especially with Hoxall being on the Brigida. He's paying some homage to his past right now by hovering on the Lucio.
Yeah. Libero is, like, he could play Genji. He's definitely much more known for his Pharah in terms of projectile. And, yeah, I don't think you'd ever have Libero playing Genji instead of Hoxall or Who Are You. So, because Hoxall's still in as support, and you can't change that, by the way. That's one of the rules of 2-2-2. Just like in your ranked games, you can't suddenly like defend and then swap. This is what we're going to see. Looks like it's going to be a Mei push. And then it may swap to Ashe. Yeah. I thought he was going to at least try a shot first, but it's going to be the Ashe Mei. And Eileen once again on this Torp. That shows that they were like concerned about potential dive, I'd say. Or at least Tracer coming out here from Nene, but not going to happen. So kind of a bad matchup for Guangzhou to start. Well, that was a scary moment there for Chara. Oh my god.
It's all right. It's all right for now. Just playing it slow, working their way up. Mono taking a beating on the entrance there, pulls everybody together. Thought maybe he was going to try to pull them off this mid-round, but instead, once everybody clumped up, just going to be damaged back and forth as Hoxall takes a little bit of dynamite. Hulk coming through here from the Guangzhou Charge, forces the immortality field, but Kwong gets taken down as the Amp Matrix does come through from Jonak. Clean up there, no front line to stand behind. Immortality field going to be finished off as well, so can't even just try to stand in underneath of that. First tick will be going over. YXL scoop that up. Eileen dead as he drops down onto the point, and this should just be the lockdown.
Yeah.
One of the fastest caps that we've seen on a point A on Assault in a very long time.
Nene just takes that main high ground archway position. Obviously not where he's staying now, but where, you know, at the arch that you enter the point with. Which is becoming a trend right now for Ashe players. So brute force there from Mono, where he actually intentionally kept them on the high ground, so Nene would have better line of sight there. Looked puzzling at first from that first angle. It's like, oh, why wouldn't you pull him down? But then you see Nene tossing the dynamite right under the halt, and it's really good damage coming out. Happy, actually, you know, with a significant amount of damage himself, but nice setup here for Nene to get that extra chip in.
Yep. Instantly finds a headshot, dynamite going through. Libero taking just a little bit of chip damage as he enters. Now it's going to be Nene pulling back, doesn't want to stay in against Happy in that effective 1v1. Flux goes through, but Krong gets stunned out of it. Does not get the slam damage. Happy going to be taken down. Nene finds the headshot. Mono finds Chara. This could just be an extremely fast cap on Temple of Anubis. 1-4 has been dumped in, but Eileen going to get cut down. Nene finding yet another kill as Libero plays Gatekeeper back towards the spawn, holding that Blizzard just in case it's needed. 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 getting ready to come through. 4 minutes, 46 seconds. They cannot touch.
I mean,
NYXL are on a tear right now.
They had a pretty significant ult advantage, but they didn't even need it to win the point, and the Molten Core was late, and it was very misplaced. It was on top of where NYXL was at that time, on the right side of the point, but it wasn't on the point itself, where New York could just retreat to and then force Guangzhou to come to them. How are you feeling about your Guangzhou prediction right now?
You know, just... We're hanging in there. We're hanging in there.
It's not over yet, Guangzhou fans. It's not over yet.
There's always the reverse sweep.
There's always 2 CP2 where Guangzhou comes in with like a 5-minute time bank here. Well, that's
yeah, I mean, we could take this to 8 rounds. Screw it. Let's do it.
Well, with the new changes to time bank, I doubt that's ever going to happen. But, you know, it is technically possible. Let's see.
We saw a lot of extra rounds actually earlier in North America, the Houston Outlaws series, I believe.
Yeah.
That one went pretty deep.
We've seen a lot of them this year in general, even with the time bank changes. Well, New York are going to run the Torbjorn-less defense here. It's going to be Nene once again on the Ashe. I find it hard to believe Eileen will attack with Torbjorn here, but I guess anything is possible. His hero pool doesn't allow for Mei, really. That's one of the weak links here, and they wish they had Nero right now for, I think, this moment where, I mean, Torbjorn attack, I mean,
He's going for it.
It's great versus Tracer, obviously, but it's not going to be great versus all the poke damage coming through from Nene and the wall-offs that they're going to run into. It's going to be hard for him to build up a Molten Core, and even when he does, until you get to the point, you can't really use it. At least they got through this room, at least halfway through this room, pretty easily, so good start here so far.
Let's start the bounces. Oxel getting tagged up just a little bit. Actually playing extremely far forward with the barrier. And Mono's just going to be charging into the room there, straight into them. Immortality Field has to come through as Hoxel nearly gets eliminated. Kept alive at least for a little bit longer, but Eileen strikes first, finds the kill onto Libero. Hoxel trying to stabilize here. Armor packs coming through when he can afford them. Look how quickly he is getting this rally of Chara matching. He pops it, but already they lose out on Mono, so this might not pay off for them.
That rally's going to buy him like 5 seconds.
Way back. Duking it out here with Chara. Rally going to be expiring. Hoppa going to be taken down. Immortality Field going to be gone. And yeah, Guangzhou Charge looking like they might just have an equally fast cap on point A.
I mean, you know, I said it's not over, right? And you're joking that it's 2 CP, but I feel like New York did the one thing they couldn't do against the Torbjorn comp. Remember everything I was talking about Torbjorn struggling to close the distance, to find value with his left clicks, to get that Molten Core off. I mean, he doesn't even have it yet, but New York just engaged into the Torbjorn comp. And then perhaps they thought, okay, they have no Mei, they can't cut us in half, this is going to be a solid strategy, but I feel like it was not the play to attack into the Torbjorn comp like that when Guangzhou Charge have positional advantage. Now Guangzhou have a great amount of ults here. They could get the double cap.
Yeah, Matrix is out, but the main wall will cut them off. Taking 2 significant damage though, and Brio, okay, well, as I say that, Brio just disappears as soon as the main wall gets dropped down. Happy does manage to find Hotba, but with Shu falling as well, that's going to have to be a retreat call here for the Guangzhou Charge. So we'll not be able to match the time bank, but even though they still have 5 minutes, they can still have a very significant time bank for themselves upon getting a cap on point B. Also still getting stacked. They only used Amp Matrix and Flux there, so they still have a lot to work with the bomb, with the Molten Core.
They really want to play around Nene having this main archway, but I feel like it's not absolutely necessary to do that. They're going to play a little bit further back now. Torbjorn has Molten Core. They may be just trying to force the Molten Core to be used off of the point in a neutral fight that takes place before that, but they do finally back off and give that respect. Oh no, the solo Blizzard.
What? Okay, manages to kill off Eileen. I mean, this is just a time buy, really.
I mean, it's a minute and a half,
they can
probably.
Go ahead, commit.
They gain.
Yeah, commit a single ult. They have enough to back them up. They have a Flux, they have a Rally, they have a Bob. So NYXL, yeah, they realize that they can afford to just go ahead and pop that Blizzard solo.
If you win, if you kill either the Orisa or the Torbjorn, you can actually almost walk all the way back to their spawn because they can't stop you anymore. They don't have any way to kind of peel back against the onslaught that happens against a Mei composition. So Libero builds up 35% more of another Blizzard. They beat the push because the Molten Core is the most important thing for this to succeed, and then gets slows and staggers. And I mean, already a minute gone, almost a minute and a half there. Great position for New York.
Turret going to be eliminated. Nene still hovering at the top of the archway as Charge start pushing their way through. They managed to find Jonek. Will See the Immortality Field coming down. Supercharger as well. As they get rid of the Bob, now Libero going to fall. They're pushing their way forward. Hawksall with very little HP barely makes his way over onto his namesake health.
Where is Hotba?
Hotba is all the way in the back line. Okay. He's gotten killed, but it's all right. Potentially here for NYXL. We'll see if they can continue this defense. Then it gets another little dynamite in, but Chu chases in, gets the headshot to finish off the Ash. They still haven't made their way onto the point though, and with the defender's advantage, NYXL are going to be able to regroup as 6. They start pushing their way in. Libero gets the freeze here onto Kwong as they try to finish him off. Flux now coming through. Drops him back down to the ground. Jonak has to leap out, but the Molten Core will claim Hawksall. Now Mono and Libero are going to be gone, so Charge can just go ahead, make their way over to the point now, and NYXL are going to struggle to try to get their way back in. Bob comes through from Nene. Does not stand a chance. They instantly burn him down. Jonak gone as well. Hawksall swapping over onto the Lucio to go for the delay tactics, but one tick already comes through. He gets stunned up. And yeah, they end his career on Lucio pretty quickly.
Well, he's going to drop a Blizzard
with this one.
Well, no, he's not.
Yeah, Libero does. He's got it ready to go, but needs to get back into the fight. But they are just getting picked off one after the other as they try to advance here. Somebody needs to tag. They barely make their way onto the point now. Hawksall returning with the Lucio. Sliver of HP will get finished off. 97.7% left to cap. Guangzhou Charge still at 2 minutes. This is very workable for them in overtime rounds. They'll finish with 2 minutes even.
Yep, I know everybody's probably gonna screenshot the Hawksall Lucio. The Hawksall Lucio fans are already posting on Twitter right now, but I think the real.
Well, not yet. We're on a delay. They haven't seen it yet.
Well, I mean, by the time they hear my voice, they will. So like in a different reality, in a different space and time. Like technically, I'm right. Okay, but
fair enough.
Not for you and I and the production and these players, but for their time and space. I think the defense was solid here for New York. They had 2 really nice team fights, and I really like the solo Blizzard onto Eileen. But I feel like they're playing the defense on hard mode by playing so far forward. I like the idea. Like, it was working pretty well at first, and Nene was finding a lot of dynamite value, was getting headshots. You could see Guangzhou Charge, even to get to the archway, was having to split. And if you use your barriers earlier on your way to the archway, then you're just going to get pummeled by Mono, who sits in main and just shoots at you after your barrier expires when you try to actually enter the archway once New York rotates back. But they were playing so far forward, they kind of got caught off guard by Guangzhou Charge saying, wait a minute, like, you can't do that. It almost felt like they were underestimating or disrespecting Guangzhou Charge. But either way, 2 minutes, like you said, this is definitely a potential comeback could occur here. They have 2 minutes of time to get that double cap. Maybe, if executed perfectly, with a little luck, they might be able to turn this one around, but New York's still sitting pretty with a time bank advantage.
Yeah, I mean, just from our first series of the day, we saw, Hangzhou Spark get quite a bit done with a limited time bank on Volskaya, so we just have to see how the Charge is now going to fare. They make their way through the Maywall, delaying them for just a little bit. And they start sliding in. Headshot goes forward onto Mono. But he'll go ahead and get topped up. Let's see how quickly Hawksall and Charge can get their rally built up this time. Maywall comes in, locking the tanks into the front. Immortality Field now coming out. Great focus fire there from NYXL to eliminate quickly. The freeze there onto Krong as well. Hasn't fallen yet. Eileen will be the first one to get picked off now. Char going to be following Sid as Jonak is eliminated to the side of the NYXL. Guangzhou Charge still trying to fight back against this one. At some point, going to have to bite the bullet and maybe just go for a reset as they are now down to a minute.
Hawksall ends up being the better Brigida in this fight, gets a rally, and has the extra healing output along with Jonak there. And they just out-sustain. I mean, they live longer, they do more damage. You could see that in Hoppa's ult charge compared to Krong as well. And I mean, Chara is almost matching Hawksall in terms of the damage output in that fight, but Hawksall lasted longer. They have a rally for this next push. This might be a full hold here in this overtime round.
Could very well be. That's what NYXL is going to be looking for, certainly. Light out will get a little bit of damage, and Shu finds a headshot, takes out Jonak. That's absolutely massive. Mortality Field as well, going to be huge here for the Charge. As you can see that Hotbutt has made his way in behind the team, hovering on that top archway. Happy going to be rotating around to the left, get on that flank angle. Krong finds Mono, now Libero going to be gone. Things start looking a little bit more doable here for the Guangzhou Charge. Neden finds 2, but Happy gets rid of him. Nearly has the bomb online as well. Appa claims yet another one. Only 26% towards that second ult, though. First tick going to be coming over, so no full hold to be had, but looking like Jonak is taking this into his own hands, manages to find 2. He doesn't want to give any extra percentage over to the side of the Guangzhou Charge. Hotbot getting right up into Rio's face, trying to finish him off, but Nene on the return of the Tracer manages to do just that. We'll go ahead, stop Krong from being able to touch, and that is as far as the Charge will get on point A, 42.2%.
I think the jury's out. I think Hoxall is convicted. He's going to Brig Jail. He's actually
he's been in it.
He's going back to Brig Jail because he played an insane defense there. Not only was he on the first push from Guangzhou outperforming his counterpart on the Charge, but he had a beautiful rally, built a second rally extremely quickly, stayed out of the fight for a while there just to occasionally touch the point to prevent the cap from coming through while Hotbot, and I believe it was Mono who was with him, the tank survived there when there was only like 3 left for New York. He just disconnected from them, bought time on the point so the rest of the tank line could rejoin him and delay while the spawns were coming through. And he did, he pushed the boundaries of what I think a Brigitte is really capable of on that very quick defense there. And when you see a performance like that, it's like you remember that he has probably more playtime on Brigitte in pro games than like almost anybody on the planet, and he's just extremely good at this hero, and the decision to put him in as main support here just makes more and more sense as time goes by. And with Libero playing this well on the Maya to back it all up, I don't know if we'll see Hoxall not on Brigitte until she stops being meta. I don't know. Back to jail, man.
Could very well be. He made a bad deal, and they came back to collect more, even though he's like, I already made my payments. I've been beating them every month, and like, we want more money now. Has to stick through with it. Same approach as per usual, as you will pretty much always see with double shield going through the right side.
I lean on May though.
Most viable option.
So a bit of a change. No Torb.
Ooh, Libero walling them into the corner. They're trying to get out of there. Hoxall nearly eliminated, and there you go. That's going to be both supports falling here for NYXL. They're going to have to go for a pretty quick little reset here. But they have the time to spare. As long as this doesn't happen again, could still be sitting pretty.
I don't think the wall was tight that they tried to go for. The Libero tried to set up there. So Guangzhou Charge just kind of spill out and have a concave advantage there. And the scary thing about this for New York is that they just gave a ton of ult charge over. Like, New York kind of fell over there. And this next fight could be even more one-sided for the Charge. This, Nene somehow escapes notice over here and is going to come back in for the flank. If he gets a pick, that could change everything.
This could be huge.
I think they know he's there, but they haven't been able to kill him, so they have to look both ways. But, if this fails, he's wasted so much time, and New York is going to regret this.
Yeah. Well, the Dynamite will connect, so he's going to have to take a little bit of extra time, move over to get the health pack. Good amount of damage goes through on the Rio to get the stun, but Charge invested heavily in the healing, and they managed to keep him alive. The 1-for-1 so far, Hoxall for happy, but now with Libero falling, NYXL again looking like they're going to have to peel back and get a reset. Hotbot continues to poke forward. Kinetic grasp and get some shielding, but that does not last very long. Whereas the rest of his HP bar as the rest of the Guangzhou Charge go ahead and push forward, claim his life. Mono makes his way around the corner of the May wall coming up, buys them just a little bit of extra time. Drake will leap up over the top, the rally leading the way here. As the Blizzard comes down from Eileen. For the freezes.
The point.
Too much, but Jonek still going to be taken down. First tick nearly there. They get about halfway on the build up here. Guangzhou Charge turn their sights back over to the point. Flux now going to be coming through from Hotbot. Looking to shut them down. And Krong eats Libero's Blizzard with a kinetic grasp. Absolutely massive. Now Mono going to be taken out, and suddenly things start looking a little bit more dire for the NYXL. They invest a lot on these attacks, and they might not be able to get this tick yet. Still, Hoxall swinging away. He's desperately trying to keep himself and Hotbot alive, but he's just not going to be able to do so.
Yeah, this is that actually was the fight I think New York had to win. Because now they use so many tools, and unless Guangzhou Charge makes a big mistake, or New York makes an incredible play with Nene again, and by the way, killed Shu super early in the fight, after killing Happy on the flank angle, then killed Shu before Shu could Immortality Field. It looks like this is super winnable for New York. They're going to have to use their Ice Wall to close this gap here, so that's not going to be available for a little while, so that's going to be a lot of time here for Guangzhou Charge. So they have to sit and wait for that. And, Charge is sitting pretty here. There's the Ant Matrix. Wall comes up, but it's blocked by the other wall.
Yeah, they get the cutoff there on the Hoxall briefly. Now the Flux coming through will be met with the Immortality Field as one would anticipate. They finish that off. They retreat back over to the point. Barrier blocks the whip shot. Hawksall nearly with a rally ready to roll. Just desperately trying to build that up before they get into the thick of things. They want that armor coming through. Get the pull up here onto Krong. Take him rather low. Hotba situated up top. Trying to get a flux of his own built. Happy's got the crossfire though, and the barrier doesn't have much shield. They finish that one off. Grasp will go ahead and eat the dynamite. Actually, no, it looks like it does detonate before he can take that one away. So it does get knocked down to about half HP. Gets the stun onto Krong. 40 seconds now remain. Rally going to be rolling. Flux coming through from Hotbot. Rio the first one to fall. This could be it here. Krong trying to trade it back though. Libero going to get taken down. Now Hawksall eliminated as well as Char finds the kill onto his counterpart Brigida. Hotbot in the back, trying to stay alive, but he's completely surrounded. Gets finished off. And it's going to be one last attempt with a big delay play that's going to have to happen here for NYXL if they want to get this.
I don't know if anyone is going to be able to touch this realistically without just dying. I think it's just over.
Now swapping to a wrecking ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's really... I mean,
would have thought that they would have gone for it.
I don't know about this.
Again in the back, taken down. Maywall comes up, shuts them away. They're trying to get close. Krong eats another blizzard from Libero.
I mean, he eats Libero's blizzard that Libero threw because he knew the game was over.
I mean, he lobbed it in desperation while just trying to touch the point, but still, just to take away 2 blizzards with a kinetic grasp bet is still going to be impressive regardless of the situation there. But, you know, they pull off the hold. Guangzhou Charge starting to look good.
I think the real crux of the problem for New York on a lot of those defense and on attack there, which ended up costing them the map, is just their tank line had some really haphazard rotations where they moved in, and they were reliant so much on Jonax Immortality Fields. Jonax Immortality Fields were almost always way before Shu's. Sometimes Jonax Immortality Fielded twice before Shu had to use his, because Shu just played patiently, and they always had the better position of their tanks, so they were just kind of saying, look, if you're going to run in here and burn your Immortality Field, then our Gravitic Fluxes actually could kill you. It's not like a thing that just delays you. It actually will kill you. You got to save those Immortality Fields for longer if you can. If your tanks overextend and Joink has to use those early, you're going to have a bad time. And New York certainly did there.
Wow, really good perseverance from the side of the Guangzhou Charge. I mean, a massive time bank that they were able to stave off the NYXL for. So they do, in fact, win that map. Temple of Anubis goes to them, and we are tied up 1-1 as we get ready to go into our game break. So a lot could still develop throughout the rest of this series. We're just going to have to wait and see how things go. But for now, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have our halftime.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Zip Chair Gaming, the official chair supplier of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, welcome back. It is now time for our game break presented by Pringles Wavy. We can go ahead and take a look back at this now tied up series. It was looking extremely good for NYXL, up until their defense versus the Guangzhou Charge there on Temple of Anubis. Even then, overtime rounds, thinking, 44% or 42.2% is all they need to beat. Seems pretty good, but Guangzhou persevere and managed to pull off that insane defense. They drained the clock down, and now we have a tied-up series. Wolf?
Yeah, I mean, New York just didn't respect the enemy tank line, I feel like, a lot of the time in that. And as
Krong got away with so much.
He got away with so much, and we go into our crunch time presented by Pringles Wavy. I'll talk about that a little bit more, but Immortality Field is such a potent ultimate in this meta right now. It almost feels too strong, and it's so good at shutting down everything, from pulse bombs to gravitic fluxes to just saving someone who gets too low because they end up losing the tank war. And that's specifically what I'm talking about with New York, is they decided to just oftentimes walk in and halt and look for a crazy tank v tank frontline fight because they're so confident about Huxell's ability to play Brig. It feels like we're playing, I say we as if I'm on New York. I'm not. Never ever. I did predict them to win the series, but they run in with Huxell, and I think they're playing the style that they've definitely been scrimming and playing, where it's like, okay, if we just trade and win the tank line because Huxell is so good, our tank line wins that tank v tank battle, then we just win a lot of these fights, and it worked out for them in some cases. But oftentimes Guangzhou was ready, and then you see Jonak throw in the Immortality Field, and New York gets blown up, the Immortality Field's gone, and or the next push they don't have Immortality Field because of this, and you see Krong has Gravitic Flux ready, don't have the answer for that anymore. Shu's got his Immortality Fields every time. Like, that's what it felt like was happening, is the tank line was just playing way too liberally for those final attacks. And also on the A defense for New York, where they just decided to hard engage on top of the Torbjorn attack comp for some reason, which I just felt like was not necessary and
ill-advised.
I mean, you saw Huxell surge up to a rally that he cast immediately as he was dying, and it didn't matter. I think Huxell had play of the game because we saw it just at the very end of that map from that play where he just went from 0 to 100 with a bunch of flails. Yeah. But it just doesn't matter if your tank line dies immediately and you lose the fight anyways. So I get the idea of what they're trying to do, but I think they have to show a little bit more respect to Guangzhou here.
Well, we'll see if they're going to be having any changes as we get ready to move into the rest of this series. Tied up at the half. Like we said, it was looking like this was maybe just going to be a 2-0 lead and potentially a sweep coming in for NYXL. But Guangzhou, they're starting to wake up. They're learning to play around NYXL, and NYXL as well. They're getting themselves in these awkward positions. Nene kind of catching the mono syndrome and putting himself all the way behind enemy lines and then getting picked late, much like we saw from Mono on his Orisa on maps like Kings Row and whatnot, trying to hide in the subway. He dies, and suddenly it's like, okay, you 45 seconds are now gone because you decided to try and escape this way rather than just inting forward onto the point, getting killed, and resetting a 6. So I think if they can clean that up, then NYXL, obviously, they look extremely strong in this series. They certainly could still take this, but Guangzhou are starting to put up more of a fight, and that's got to be a little bit worrisome if you're an NYXL fan watching from home. Yeah,
I agree with everything you're saying. It really just felt like that map slipped through their fingers, and I think I was wrong when we started map 2, and I was saying, I don't know, it could be a 3-0 after that control map. I'm going to take it back. I was wrong. I think we might be in for a really close one here.
Which is exactly what we wanted from the get-go, so I am perfectly happy to see Guangzhou pick up a map and, maybe one more each, and then go to that map 5, because we haven't had one today. So that would be really nice to see. But that's going to do it for our game break and our crunch time presented by Pringles Wavy. When we come back, we will have the remainder of this series and see who can come out on top, who can move one step closer to closing out this series, so stay tuned.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles Wavy. Big crunch, big flavor. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, here we go. Let's get things underway again. Get back to the action. We are tied up 1-1 in this 10th series between the New York Excelsior and the Guangzhou Charge, who just recently picked up a victory on Temple of Anubis. Now we're getting ready to move into Watch Point Gibraltar yet again and see which of these teams can move up 2-1, get that match point under their belt.
Yeah, that's the idea. And we've seen a lot of crazy games on Gibraltar recently. A lot of full holds, a lot of struggled pushes through to C. It's a really fun map to watch in Overwatch right now because we're seeing a lot of different teams try different things. We're seeing Hangzhou played on this map to break shields just like the old days. We're seeing Dive played on this map from Genji to just straight up Echo Dive. We're seeing sometimes the Zarya be played with Winston. We're seeing May. I mean, it's all of that plus snipers and Tracer. So you never know what you're going to get.
A lot of variety.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we'll see what these guys have pieced together for us. Very much worth noting that we do have Anamo stepping back into the lineup for NYXL and Hoxall shifting off of support and moving back into his DPS slot. So it seems like for now, at least for Watch Point Gibraltar, he has been released from his brig jail.
Yeah, and there's a lot of speculation as to why that may be. It might just be that they were not feeling great about Jonak's Batiste. I feel like Jonas Batiste was fine. I don't put the early immortality fields on him as much as I put it on the tank line, where he's trying to desperately save. But either way, we'll be Anamo in now, and there is a world where we do see, as you can see now, the Jonak Ana, and we see Sombra played with Genji. We will see. Hoxall's going to use the teleporter first. But I think that's a pretty good option here. Yep, there it is. Okay. Looking familiar.
Yeah, it does go for this. I was thinking maybe we would see Anamo on the Mercy to try to pocket him, get that fast blade, but seems like they're not going to be going for that. And have enough confidence in Hoxall to be self-reliant, especially with the Genji buffs that have recently come in on this patch.
Yeah, I like it, honestly, the Mercy strat you're talking about, especially because Guangzhou's not running Winston, so you don't need Sleep Dart as much, but could have run something different. But either way, here we go. Hoxall coming in.
Yeah, big deflect going to be going out. Blocks a lot of damage, but as soon as the deflect is down, Krong just cleans up 3 kills. Now he's looking for a little bit more. Won't be able to lock down the Sombra there, but will be able to get Jonak. So huge plays from Krong. Surge him up to 71% of that flux.
Jonak does a ton of damage, hits a bio onto Krong, and is getting a quick nano boost, but it doesn't necessarily matter if there's no great nano target. This might be a situation where he actually nano boosts Mono instead of Hoxall because the blade isn't being killed quickly enough.
Mono walled off there for the moment. Seems like he does manage to escape, but that was looking pretty treacherous for him for a little bit. Hoxall spamming out, tries to build up this blade, but the barriers are just denying him so much, and he cannot safely get up close and personal with the Guangzhou Charge because of Happy's May.
Yeah, and the Torbjorn here as well makes it super difficult to actually come in and get that damage done.
Yeah, this is massive Genji dive potential here, but they push forward, they make it into one of the side rooms now. Deflection not going to be netting them too much. And the Blizzard has been burned. They start pushing forward, though. They're looking for Mono, who's trying to escape. Stunned up for the moment. The Primal Rage is going to be popped. Dragon Blade now, as he dashes through, is going to be available for Hoxall. The card could be opened up a bit. The Flux inside the room will go ahead and break down both of the tanks for the side of the NYXL as Hotbuck gets knocked out of that mech. Does pistol his way back up before he can get resuited. Will be eliminated in pilot form. And the Guangzhou Charge will go ahead and maintain control of this card. So far, barely has crested out of the car wash.
Yeah, and this is after a very poorly executed Blizzard from Happy as well, but the tank line wins again. The supports are great to back it up. But the scary thing is now you've got an EMP blade coming out. Yeah, there's no nano boost, but the Molten Core needs to be basically right on top of the point, and even if it is, you might still lose this fight. This is going to be the hardest defense Guangzhou's had since this map started right now versus the EMP. The positioning has to be really good. You can see them spreading pretty well here around these walls, so there's not a lot of EMP line of sight. Here comes Nene. He knows exactly where he needs to go in, but it's tough to close that distance.
A really nice buy check. The EMP is going to be used solo on Krong. Hoxall now pushing forward, manages to find Chara with one swipe. Mortality field gone as well, but has to reshoot the blade, and Rio just cuts him down, so that doesn't really get much done for them. Eileen's going to be taking a nap after using the Molten Core. That comes in onto Krong, and the cart has advanced forward. So much fighting in the side room is that the cart can advance for free for NYXL, despite the Blade not getting much done. Charger's still picking up kills on the backside of this, but now they have to exit. They have the closer spawns to NYXL.
Yeah, I'm actually amazed that that cart went through. Also, Jonax somehow hit a sleep dart onto Eileen, but that was a really great start to the defense there for Guangzhou Charge. And the positioning versus the EMP was beautiful. Nene just couldn't find anything. If he went into where they were, he would have gotten bashed and killed. So that was actually really well done. Doesn't amount to much in the end because of the cap. Also just looking for some dash resets.
A lot of off-cart fighting results in that push nicely there for New York. Hangzhou peeling back. We're going to see the flex there to stop himself from getting frozen, and then it will get picked off. So we'll be delaying that EMP for a little bit, but he nearly has one build up, just 14% away. Hangzhou's just spamming out. He's just farming off the turret now to go ahead and get that next Dragon Blade online. Jonex going to be ready with a nano boost as well. And the card has been moving relatively for free this entire time because Guangzhou Charge is trying to occupy the high ground. So they just go ahead and roll the card in. It's almost to point B now with 2 minutes remaining.
Yep. Flux ready for Krong. On the other hand, they have this high ground still. Right now, this is going to be a nano blade, looks like.
That blade comes out. They saw the accretion used. Shield Bash will go ahead and stun Hangzhou. He gets knocked down to 32 HP, pushes back in as the healing starts coming through. EMP now comes out, catches 4 members on the side of the Guangzhou Charge. The Molten Core is still going to be rolling for Eileen. Trying to save them off, shove them back, and maybe even pick up some kills. But Rio is going to be the only one falling thus far in the fight. A lot of ultimates still available for the side of the Guangzhou Charge, but now with the rally rolling, NYXL have a lot of staying power as they play forward on the cart. And Char will be eliminated by the dash through from Hangzhou. Cleans up a second one of the melee hit onto Happy. And then NYXL will be able to move forward onto point B after a little bit of extended skirmishing. 3 minutes on the clock now for the final stretch. Yeah. We've seen how close things can get here just in our last series alone.
Yeah, this gets crazy hard.
Still a little dangerous for them.
Yeah, this gets crazy hard to finish, with a time bank like this. And you have to play really far forward. They don't have an EMP right now. So Guangzhou Charge, they gave up B, which is the saddest thing to lose here, because you know that like the C take feels almost inevitable when the EMP is on the other side, but I feel like New York don't come in with a massive amount of ults, so the time bank is definitely going to get depleted here significantly. And
that would be the norm.
I like Happy's swap here to the Ashe because he's not a projectile player. The May here, there's so much space for New York to kind of circumvent, and they're playing a dive comp, so why not just take this opportunity to perhaps get some one-shots or help buffer against the dive.
Yeah. Well, Nano Blade combo is ready to go. Hangzhou just going to be waiting for his moment. Supercharger is out right now, so it's still going to be very dangerous, and that's why Mono does get picked off there before he can get the Primal Rage ready. So just have to wait out the Supercharger, regroup, and get ready to recontest the card. They already got a lot of free distance, moving it up towards this corner as Nene tries to slink his way into the back line and get the remainder of that EMP build.
That's what he wants. They want the EMP Nano Blade to close this out, and Guangzhou just want to delay this any way possible. They really want that Molten Core. That's the best way to shut this down. But it's too late.
Self-destruct starts things off. The EMP is not going to be ready in time, but it might not matter. Already, 2 members going to be gone to the Blade. Nene does finish off Krong. Now has that for any final recontest that the Guangzhou Charge would be using. Bob going to be tossed out, but he is going to be hacked in the back, just silently sitting there. And as they try to knock them off the cart, the EMP will come through. Rio swinging away, having swapped over onto the right arm, tries to buy them enough time. Eileen comes back out, but one after the other, they will get picked off. And NYXL, not the largest time bank, but finishing Gibraltar is still going to be a bit of a feat in and of itself. So with 1 minute and 10 remaining, they can feel comfortable as they get ready to go on defense.
I wonder what we're going to see the Guangzhou Charge run on attack right now, because I want to point this out, like, Nero being missing here, I think really hurts Guangzhou Charge's ability to run a lot of different compositions. For example, Happy is playing May, and as I pointed out earlier, he's a hit scan player. He's never been a May player. It's not his role, it's not his job, it's not what he trains for, but the meta calls for it, and they don't have Nero in, so he has to play it, and you could feel the discomfort around these types of compositions. Eileen as well, not particularly known for Torbjorn, as we're going to take a look here at one of the Jonax plays. I'm not entirely sure which one this is. I'm just going to watch the...
just into the Nano Blade.
So, just watching this again for some reason. But anyway, Guangzhou Charge, I'm much more curious about what they're locking in here than I am about watching that blade catastrophe. And okay, so this is even more peculiar.
This isn't gonna be real.
I don't think so. Yeah, I'm like, if it's gonna be the other way around. Happy on the Hangzhou and Eileen on the Doomfist. If this is real, I don't think it is.
I mean, maybe they take a leaf out of Chengdu's book and just swap the roles.
Yeah, that didn't go so well. Okay.
Okay.
This makes more sense.
Still gonna have to be pretty cautious. Chara clipped there on the on. I was looking for a sleep dart spy check, I would assume. Try to find Nene, so just goes back over to the Brigitte. Dynamite not gonna connect on the Hawksaw, and the deflection will allow him to go across the walkway. As they go ahead and start spamming out. They spot Nene in the back. Ooh, really nice instant scope in on the headshot, but obviously with the Ash not gonna be enough to get an instant kill. Still really good. Now Happy manages to get the body shot onto Hawksaw. Getting rid of that Genji alleviates a lot of pressure. Now no mono. So this card can roll for quite some time.
So this is when Happy's like, look, this is what I get paid to do, is actually shoot people on the head with hit scan heroes and watch what my job is, what my role is. And he's just shutting down these flankers so hard. Hawksaw and Nene both having a hard time because of this Ash threat. It's just constantly tracking them.
Moving up into the front, Dynamite connects. Anubis going to be used on the mono. Tries to get the Primal Rage online because just how much damage he is taking, so has to peel out of the room. So Charge going to be playing away from the cart again. Try to find some picks and then advance down into the open air. Happy looking for the flank angle. Knows that Jonax up top. Gets the Dynamite. And eludes Hawksaw. Bob now going to be coming through. Mono taken down off the start. Already going to be looking fantastic for the Guangzhou Charge to finish this push. Hotba knocked out of the mech as well. And now with Jonak falling, this is likely just going to be the cleanup. Yeah, Hawksaw tries to get out of there with a dash, but Bob, he locks on. Heat seeking.
I mean, Happy is crushing this right now on the attack. He's just really, he's making Hawksaw and Nene look just, I don't know, I don't want to say, I'll just say it worthless, I guess, in this case. You know, like they're two heroes that are trying to build ultimates. They both failed to build ultimates on defense versus the Guangzhou Charge's first extended push. That's the whole point of these heroes, is to blade, to nano blade if possible, and to EMP before A, and they fail to get their ultimates because Happy's playing so well. He's already halfway to his second one before they even get to use that EMP. He's just shutting these flankers down by being hyper-aware.
Really Mono going in for the really aggressive dive, falls low, pops the Primal Rage to stay alive. Looking for some targets, and Cleave sees them in the stairwell, goes back outside because he needs to get some healing. Hawksaw manages to find one as Eileen will fall, and the Immortality field will be taken down as well. Now that that is gone, Hawksaw goes in deep, has the blade drawn out, he's looking for some kills, gets stunned for the moment, trying desperately to keep him alive. Picks up two before getting taken down, but it doesn't matter. The rest of the team is there for the cleanup. The extended team wipe comes in, and the cart will now be held inside the hangar. And we know from history how difficult it can be for teams to reapproach through these four chokes.
This is a weird moment too, where with the hero pools of NYXL, they can't, I mean, Hawksaw can play Torbjorn, for example, but they can't try to mirror comps. It might be better off swapping Hawksaw over to Mei and putting Nene on an Ashe, something like that, to control these chokes, but because they're staying with the counter dive, the defensive dive, they can't control the chokes, so Guangzhou just gets to spill in for free.
Self-destruct up the front, just going to be breaking down the shield of Chara as Krong takes a nap, so Guangzhou Charge is going to be held at bay for the moment. Can't really afford to push out too much, and Nene will jump back to everything. A little bit of harassment in.
I mean, New York's comp needs ults to function, and without them, I mean, Guangzhou just kind of gets to ride the wave right into the point, get on top of the cart, and New York are the ones having to play defensively until they hit those big ults before B. That's kind of the rule here of their comp. And look, Happy denying again any Sombra value.
Doing his damnedest, gets a headshot, takes down Hawksaw. He is still just 24% away from that Dragon Blade, so this gets him a lot of extra distance. He'll still have it, in all likelihood, for a contest before they can get to point B.
They hope.
See how things transpire first.
That's the whole point.
A lot of damage going forward there onto Hotba's mech. The Dynamite not going to be able to find too much. Hotba just going to be playing back around the side as the cart is dangerously close. The bomb now going to be coming through. Rio having to kite back his ante, and the Immortality field will be drawn out to keep him safe. Turret gets rid of Anamo. That's something that you see all the time, and it will be Eileen finding both of the supports. He pushes up, gets rid of Jonah, gets rid of Hawksaw before Hawksaw strikes back from beyond the grave. EMP does come through from Nene, but he is dead as soon as he uses it. Happy finds the headshot, strikes him down. They use a lot on that defense. to no avail. 3.5 minutes now for Guangzhou Charge on the final stretch.
I mean, look, you are so close to having your ultimate. I mean, they're like late 90s on that. You know, you were saying they're going to have it in time very likely, and they did almost have it, right? But when you're playing this ult-based comp, you can't just let them roll into the cart for free. You got to play more aggressive, but that's not how the comp's designed to function. They're going to have a Nano Blade here. They're going to try to swap this into, you know, a later EMP fight after this fight goes well for them. But if this Nano Blade fails, if they get shut down super hard, if Char gets a nice shield bash, then this could be a phenomenal time bank for Guangzhou Charge. This is really scary for New York.
Working their way forward steadily here, but the card could be contested at the moment. Nano
There's the
Blade
bash.
are coming through. They get a stun. The Molten Core comes out to try to zone him back from going into the room, and so far it's working a treat. So the blade's going to be resheathed, and as he does, it gets pulled in on top of the lava and burned into the ground. Eileen finds yet another one. Looking for Nene, spots him on the flank. Overloads, pushes in, looks for the kill. Thought maybe he was going to jump back to that health pack that he has hacked out, but he goes a little bit further, so he does remain safe to try and build up towards that
What was
EMP.
that?
Krong pushing into the side room, however, manages to find Mono. I don't have the answers for you right now, Wolf. All I can talk about is the action that we're seeing in front of us, which is going to be a flux coming through now from Krong. He's falling low, the immortality field will keep him alive. Slams Hoxel to the ground, manages to find the kill. And Almo and Jonak now both going to be eliminated, so there's no supports in the fight. It's going to be Mono and Hoppa trying to stay alive. Self-destruct not going to be forced out. He holds onto that one, having trust in his team to delay for a little bit longer.
EMP is ready.
I don't know if they're going to get the opportunity. They're moving forward. They're looking for the superior time bank. Hoxel comes out, stuns up the bomb, just burns into his back, takes him down. His Mono pops the Primal Rage. EMP will come through. Catches 3 members. Char going to be the only one to fall so far. Self-destruct finding nothing other than the turret here from Eileen, who's got another Molten Core. He's laying it down on top of the point. Hotball rolls forward, instantly gets taken out of the mech. They finish off Hoxal. Now just looking for Mono as he tries to dance around the barrier, but the bubble is going to expire. Cart rolls forward, and they close it out. A 19-second advantage for the Guangzhou Charge.
Yeah, and it's a time bank that's closer than it looked like it might have been there after the Dragon Blade didn't work out for Hoxal there because of Eileen's Molten Core placement. It was the second time that in order to defend against the Dragon Blade, the Nano Blade coming out, they went into a side room and then just Molten Core on top of the entrance, so essentially Hoxal would have to run through it with his blade. The first time he was able to dash through it and still get value. It didn't work the first time they tried it, but the second time there, Hoxal did end up dying to Eileen's Molten Core. And I feel like Guangzhou Charge really adapted very well. The longer they kept running the Genji, they were able to figure out ways to shut it down. Because it's kind of predictable, you know, when you're running this strategy, running this composition that New York is running, you kind of know how it's going to work, because it's basically just, okay, look, they have Nano Blade, just watch where Hoxal is, get ready to shut him down.
Almost canceled it.
Insanely close.
Like, he predicted it so well. Saw where he was going and identified that situation so well that he almost got the cancel on the all. Either way, huge plays from Krong throughout this series. This guy has been a monster.
He's making a case to be potentially called the best Sigma in Asia right now. I mean, Void is another contender, obviously, but I mean, he's up there.
I would probably give it to Void, but Krong, he's got a lot more proactive plays in shutting down the Sombras. We've seen that just in the last 2 days, how much he's been able to get done versus Sombra players. So he's definitely in that conversation. I would edge Void out barely in front of him.
I would too, a little bit. I mean, Krong is getting a lot of praise recently, and everyone's kind of more focused in on him right now. He's getting a little bit of extra observer love as well, it feels like. But yeah, he's looking good. But zooming in on this game, a little bit of a comp swap here. Nene gonna change things up. He was on the trade, or rather the Sombra to begin, and then he went to the Reaper here for extra staying power on the point. They want to brute force this forward. When you have such even small time banks, something like a Reaper can give you that extra edge. They don't have a lot of time to respond to it. They know it's coming now. They're just going to play back as far back as they can.
Oh, well, Anama finds a really clutch opening kill. Eileen going to be eliminated. And pushing forward. He'll drop down as the cart continues to move up. He'll go ahead, TPs to the top. Just ignoring the turret for now. He's looking for another target. And Rio playing forward on the cart. Needs a bit more support here to try and stay alive, but actually, maybe not. Pushes up, man. Just to find Hotpa. Hoxal eliminated on the May as well. Nene with a sliver of HP has to go ahead and Wraith walk his way out to safety. They get the pushback on Mono. He's going to get the Mega Pack. They barely managed to tag in. Flux trying to be burned, was trying to predict somebody moving up to the cart to tag that once. It doesn't quite connect from Krong, but it might not matter all the same. Huxel swapped over onto the Doomfist, falls low, gets a little bit of shielding from the passive, but it's not nearly enough for him to survive. So suddenly this starts looking so very dangerous for NYXL. Guangzhou Charge successfully hold them just after the underpass here, the car wash if you will. After that great start with Anamo getting the pick on the Torb.
Yeah, it was a great start, but there's no way to stick the landing on. Unfortunately, Nene was kind of pushed away for a lot of that fight. He didn't get to do the damage he wanted to, and at the very end was just teleporting onto the cart to try to tag it. I actually like the Reaper choice. I think it was a smart move. It's a risk, but it could definitely pay off, and sometimes can lead to a crazy snowball as well. And you get A, you get halfway to B, and you win a team fight with Blossom on B, and then suddenly it's a crazy long push. But this is still anyone's map to take. I mean, the time banks are so small here that you almost basically just get one team fight either way. The person who wins that, or the team that wins that team fight, usually gets the ult advantage and wins either the attack or defense. And the Sombra coming out here for both teams, that might be really the X factor, the EMP fight. Getting that first EMP, locking things up, might be what is the win or lose moment. Guangzhou Charge here looking like they want to run. Well, they're changing up a little bit. I don't know if they're teasing me or not, but I was going to say
might still be double sniper.
Yeah, it's pretty smart. I like it a lot. It's also pretty decent against the defensive dive, especially with how well Happy has been able to shut this down. You don't have a ton of time to build those ultimates we were talking about for New York here with this ult-based comp. Yeah.
So they're just scouting out for any forward position. Nene, oh my god, he barely escapes. Would have been catastrophic for NYXL. They need Nene to pop off. Be getting really nice clutch-focused hacks onto the key members on the side of the Guangzhou Charge if they want to push this through. Eileen's just going to be sticking with the Torbjorn, trying to go for the anti-dive versus Hoxall. Chips are very much on the table here for NYXL. We have to see if it's going to pay off. The Bionade connects on the 2, but they can't get the kills. It'll steadily be healed up, and already the cart advancing. Getting ready to roll in. Hoppa's going to drop down. Doesn't have any HP. He can't stick through. Now it's going to be on Mono. But as they continue to poke down off the high ground, they just continue to get chunked down. Anubis built up in record time here, it would seem, from Jonak. Throws that one down. Char and Happy both going to be eliminated. Guangzhou Charge likely going to have to abandon this one right now. Try to go for one final reset. Maybe even a swap onto the Wrecking Ball, perhaps, just to try to get there in time.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Achilleos here. They're going to rush back. I think they have enough time to walk back with the main tank lineup they still have, but it's going to have to be a really fast run back to the point. They're not going to be, if they get delayed at all, they're in really big trouble. They decide to go for the risky main tank walk, but yeah, I mean, it's very little time left. No ults here, and EMP is going to be there in the longer fight no matter what. If we get to that, very scary situation here for Guangzhou.
A whip shot could cost them dearly. They start moving their way up. They've tagged onto the cart. Force out the overtime. Strong anti there for the moment. The dynamite goes up. Hoxall has to exit. Nearly has the blade online, but there won't be a nano boost yet to go with it. EMP just a little bit further away for Nene. 12% left to go on the build time. They would love that to accompany this Dragon Blade just to ensure success. Eileen nearly has a Molten Core as well, and that could be another shutdown on Hoxall's blade. We have to see how things are going to transpire.
Nano's ready.
With the cart, just 2.7 meters left away. Nano is ready. The Molten Core will open things up. They throw it down on the cart. The EMP comes out, manages to find 2. Hoxall with a blade, takes down 1 already. He's looking for more. Pushes forward, finds 3. Resheaths the blade as the bomb comes through from Happy, but he is back into a corner. Deflection going to be used. Hoxall on top of him. They finish him off. That is going to be the team wipe, and NYXL do pull it off. They get the fuller hold, in quotations, here on Watch Point Gibraltar to win the map and move up 2-1.
The Madmen, they did it. They were able to buy time for the ultimates to come online. You mentioned it. Okay, Dragon Blade's ready. Jonak doesn't have the nano boost. EMP was there. They bought a little bit more time, and they got the perfect team fight. All 3 ults. It's like a trifecta of ultimates that guarantee you the team fight win if you can use all 3 of them. Extremely risky strategy. I mean, very risky, because if you don't get those ults, if they just push it through, you lose that team fight. Even if the timing is a little bit different there on those ultimates, then Guangzhou just runs you over. They Molten Core, they push the cart through, and they win. So they barely were able to buy enough time. Very well executed by New York. That game was on the knife's edge. And the series is finally the series we wanted today, the close one.
Yeah, it is very much close. It's still on the knife's edge, and it kind of has, it's been there since that that Temple of Anubis where Guangzhou were able to bring it back. So now NYXL, they take one step forward, closer to closing this out. They are at match point. Guangzhou Charge need to win 2 in a row if they want to take this one home. Either way, I am happy for Guangzhou to take the next one, take us to a Game 5, and just have the highest stakes that we've had all day. We'll see what happens, though. Guangzhou going to have to try and bounce back. We'll see if they're able to do it when we come back from a quick break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile.
All right, and we are back, ready to dive into the action because things are continuously heating up. The tension has been rising in this series. 2-1 the scoreline right now with NYXL barely in the lead. A super close photo finish there on Watchpoint Gibraltar for them to take that lead, but now they look to close out the series. We're going to be moving into Blizzard World, where, of course, Guangzhou Charge is going to be looking to tie us up yet again and force a Game 5.
This is going to be a fun one. We might get to see the Widowmaker duel between these top-tier Widowmakers. You've got Happy versus Nene. We've seen a little bit of sniper duels. We haven't really seen Widow v. Widow, and we are seeing more Ashe on Blizzard World than Widow right now, so I don't know if we're going to see it, but if it were a different meta, if it were a different time, that would be the main thing we'd be focused in on right now. I don't think that we could see NYXL run dive here, defensive dive on Blizzard World. It just doesn't work the same way. You've got such a long distance to travel as the attacking team, so you're going to have a hard time building those blades, etc. Even on the defense, it's a little bit tough to pull off. So I think we're going to see composition changes here. We're going to see more Mei. We're going to see Ashe. So this might be more in Guangzhou's wheelhouse in terms of compositions. I know it sounds like the elephant in the room that I won't stop talking about, but the fact that they are running some of these comps with like Happy on Mei, for example, does make you feel a little bit uncomfortable if you're a Guangzhou fan, because you know that's not what he's best at, although he looked pretty serviceable, to be fair. I think
it's fine. He built up the Blizzard rather quickly. So
if Guangzhou gets to play their game and the compositions they really want to run on Blizzard World, I think they've got a pretty good shot at bringing us to that 5th and final map.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be fighting tooth and nail to make sure that happens. I don't think that we have any changes to the rosters. I think that is going to be exactly what we just saw on Watchpoint Gibraltar getting ready to come through. So, like you said, some opportunities, some chance that we do see the Widowmaker 1v1, or 1v1 in quotations, between Nene and Happy. I think what's more likely is that Nene is going to be running the Ashe, and then Happy will just do the Widow because he always does the Widow.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
And then maybe that'll force Nene's hand to have to swap if they start getting stopped by that. Otherwise, he's probably just going to be sticking forward with that Ashe. With Hawksall still in, you know what I would love to see, Wolf, is the throwback to the first time that Blizzard World was actually played by Hawksall. Runaway had picked that map, and he played Junkrat on defense, and he absolutely destroyed with it. And I would love to see that again.
I'd love to see that too. I'm a little bit surprised we don't see teams running more Junkrat. I think the difference, or the main reason why we don't, as it looks like
It's really niche.
It's really niche because if you're the defending team and you commit to Junkrat on an A, like Anubis, where he was most popular, or like Blizzard World, where it's another one of his stronger maps, you don't, like, if they don't run dive, you're locked into the Junkrat anyways, and it's not as powerful.
Yeah.
And then you're just kind of sitting there like, oh no, I have this suboptimal hero on defense, and you don't get to change until you die. By that time, sometimes the point is gone. So I think that's why we're not seeing it. But yeah, I have been surprised that when you know these teams are really, really running a lot of dive, and they really love dive, we don't see anyone trying it, like, almost at all. But yeah, fingers crossed for a little bit more Junkrat in the Overwatch League.
I'm sure Jake would agree with that sentiment. We do have Guangzhou Charge first on the defense, and it seems like it's going to be happy with the Ashe, so we'll not be going for the Widowmaker. And Eileen currently showing the Mei.
Okay.
Attackers incoming.
So Eileen Mei, I like more than Happy Mei.
I would agree with that.
It's kind of in his hero pool. It's not one of his. It's not the heroes he's most known for, or anything like that. But definitely a better setup here. Hawksall's on Mei as well. I think Nene's just gonna swap, probably over to the Ashe as soon as the teleporter has been placed. We do see teams try the Widow, off of the center in main, but it'll be Ashe at the end of the day, I think. Yeah.
Okay, we'll just swap over. So we're just going to have the mirrored cops coming through. Standard left side approach come up to the staircase. And already Guangzhou, because of that, will displace, move off the high ground, and shift back over towards the point, and likely get set up on that left side flank. Hoppa is probably going to try to weave his way, maybe even around back behind the point, by going through the base of the Griffin ride, but we'll see exactly what he wants to do if he wants to continue playing forward with the rest of his squad. Seems like he's got enough of an angle that he's satisfied with, so he's not going to go on quite as grand of an adventure as I was thinking.
Yeah, he saved a lot of his shield energy up too now to reapproach, but Mono's already down.
Yeah, that's going to be no bueno here for New York Excelsior, so we'll just have to peel back for a bit and wait for the Orisa to rejoin them. That'll take a while, and there's no Lucio's obviously here to go back and try and taxi him up a little bit faster. And now with Hotba dying, it's going to be an even longer wait. Mono swapped over onto the Wrecking Ball now.
Yeah, that's an interesting play. I mean, there's a lot of disruption you can get with Wrecking Ball into the backline, but
okay.
Perhaps he thought that they were going to continue to fight there, and he needed to have that to rejoin, but that's basically guaranteeing his Supercharger is going to be very, 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 very late. They have Blizzard,
yeah,
but so does Eileen, and that's going to be a slowdown.
And it's just kind of continuing like this, one after the other, getting picked off. They really have to just collect a 6. Jonak now respawning, everybody just staying away from remotely peeking their head out from around a corner. They know how deadly Happy is, so just have to wait. I mean, this is going to be a fairly even fight, sans the the Supercharger. You can expect in the extended fight, if they don't just get swept under the rug very quickly, that Guangzhou should have an advantage here. But Blizzard is ready to go from Hawksall, and they have the Amp Matrix.
Wall here blocked by another wall. The going through the Amp Matrix blocked by the ice wall there, to use real words. Hawksall has the Blizzard, obviously, to match Eileen's. He wants to use it second if possible once he gets onto the point. Easier said than done.
Work their way up, wall coming through, trying to cut them off. Blizzard will be short-lopped in, ensuring the kinetic grasp wasn't going to take it away. You can see that Krong was ready for that. Shu going to be the first one to fall as Hoppa finds the kill. Now the Flux is going to be coming out. Jonak already going to be gone. The Bob manages to find Hawksall, and Krong gets Hotba. And they've turned it around. They lose 2, but they find 4, and now they're looking for the finish. They will get it. Extended team wipe comes in.
Krong just outperforming Hoppa here again. Faster Flux, Haksal Blizzards first because he finds this ideal scenario where he feels like if Eileen tries to trade Blizzards, he might freeze him and kill him. I think that was the idea, but you could see Haksal was eyeing Eileen as he approached, but Eileen just ice blocked, waited. Immortality Field is up, and then he Blizzard second. Krong has a faster Flux, ends up being extremely valuable, and they turn the fight around. No ticks gained. And NYXL, they're going to have to hope Hotbug's Flux is just as good, or this might be a full hold here.
Wait and see. It's going to be rally for rally right now as they go on the approach, and Haksal just falls over on the ground. Chara taking him down with a whip shot. Hoppa unable to find anything with a Flux. Now Eileen gets the headshot kill onto Anamo. Immortality Field gone so they can clean up the rest. Hoppa likely should just be jumping off the side of the map trying to go for one final reset, but instead they stagger out a little bit longer here. You can see Jonex got the right idea, but with 10 seconds remaining, they have to rely on somebody to swap over onto this Wrecking Ball.
Yeah.
It's going to be Hoppa, but he has just now gotten up, and with the May, with this break, you can expect that they likely are going to be able to stop him. Anano tries to get there, but he just cannot do it. That is a full hold. Perfect. No tick surrendered whatsoever by the Guangzhou Charge. They want map 5.
Yeah, they want a map 5. Full hold here. And really, minus that one fight where New York got the opening pick, there weren't any scary moments for Guangzhou there. Krong outperforming Hoppa, which, you know, has been kind of the story of the series in terms of the Sigmas, but it's also not fair to not mention that obviously the defending Sigma is going to have a better time almost in every case. But he ended up having better fluxes there. Haksal got stunned and then whip-shotted with a really nice combo, so he couldn't actually ice block. So he died first in that last fight that we saw there, so that was really unfortunate for New York Excelsior. That's not something that you plan for. That's not something that you feel like, you know, is going to occur when Haksal is moving that far forward. So really nice play from Chara. And Chara has quietly been a very, very solid Perdita player here in APAC. And
yeah.
Credit is really deserved, I feel. The credit I'm giving right now is like, I feel like not enough people are knowing how good he's playing. I'm like saying this in a really weird roundabout way, but like, watch out for this guy. And New York now.
It's been silently fantastic.
I mean, they can look for the draw here. It is possible, but it's so difficult. It's so tough.
Yeah, I mean, they just got the fuller hold there on Gibraltar, but that was with a much tinier time bank. We'll push forward with the teleporter. Eileen, let's see where he wants to shift. Is it just going to be the May? Or does he stick? Okay, it's taking him a while. Thought perhaps for a second he was going to stick with the Symmetra, but will be the May in the long run.
Let's see what Happy does on the attack, because obviously he had sightline advantage on defense. Can he find a really nice flank angle? Can he take somebody out? You can see, you know, he's even getting pushed back by Haksal's right clicks right now here. And Happy does like to play pretty risky on these snipers when he's on the attack. I wonder what he can get done here. Let's go into the Griffin side.
Time. Yeah, they lose out on Shu, so they have to take this a little bit slower. But Happy does manage to find Haksal, so maybe they want to start pushing forward.
They have the faster run back.
Slow run back speed.
Yeah.
Either way, 3 minutes remaining as they take their time and start poking their way up. Happy surging past Zene in that charge towards the Bob. Gets another nice dynamite hit through. Move up over 70%. Guangzhou Charge, they start stepping over onto the point, tiptoeing their way through. Halt together. Softens up Rio considerably, but the Immortality Field drawn out by Shu. They'll keep him alive, and he's nearly got that Ant Matrix that can be extremely deadly if Happy can get in a position to really utilize it.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost got a Bob online too, which could be a really nice initiation tool here. And Krong's about to start touching the point. This is actually a scary time for New York. They need that Blizzard so badly right now.
Yep, wall comes up. Bob just going to be walled off here for the moment. Now unleashed. Barrier going to be going down, and Hoppa just disappears instantly. The Blizzard fire coming through. Krong will claim another Blizzard with the kinetic grasp. That is the third one in this series. The guy is cracked. The guy's insane. They get the team wipe. They get the point. Let's go to map 5.
That's a game 5.
Can we just don't even go to break? Let's just keep going.
I want to, but we'll have to take a break. But Achilles, I mean, that's one of those moments where you just watch Krong walk onto the point, and it belongs to him. Immortality Field's traded, and Haksal doesn't use his Blizzard until a little bit too late, and Krong is already on top of him, and there's just no way to make it work. The tank line is just getting decimated. Mono and Hoppa are not having their best nights of the double shield they've ever had. They're having one of their worst nights of double shield they've ever had, in fact.
Yeah. I mean, man, Krong is just, the guy's just insane. I mean, what more can you say? I don't want to say more. I want to just go ahead. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we will have this map 5 that we were hoping and praying for from the get-go, from the start of the series. So we'll see you guys in just a few.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Game 5 in this series between the New York Excelsior and the Guangzhou Charge. A full hold to just utter decimation on Blizzard World right there at the hands of the Charge. And NYXL, they just look like they had no idea how to deal with them at all on that map.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy when you think about it, because this is a team that is just walking all over New York. It feels like in the maps they're winning and the maps they're losing, it's very close. And like if it doesn't feel like New York is how do I put this? Like the momentum is definitely out of their court. Like they're not in a position to dominate or take control of space anymore, because the tank line is just losing every time. And this is against a team that is running May on an arguably suboptimal May player in Eileen. He's playing decently well, right? But he's not as good as Nero's May. And I mean, these games should not be this one-sided. Like Blizzard World was extremely one-sided.
Yes.
And it makes you feel like New York is like, is the wind out of their sails? Is something happening? Are these players, perhaps getting a little bit tilted? And say Byobi will actually make an appearance here in this 5th and final map. Did not see that one coming.
Yeah, got to bring in the captain to try to bring it all home, it would seem. So we'll not be shifting back to the original lineup that we saw that got them the win on Control with Hawksall as support. We'll just be keeping him in for the DPS role with, say, Byobi coming in alongside him. Guangzhou Charge are not touching anything. Everything has been very solid from them thus far. So it's not broke. Don't mess with it.
Indeed.
So, no changes to be made.
Yeah, well, we'll see how... Byobi's probably going to be running Tracer here, I have to imagine. There's a chance he runs Reaper, though. I mean, the mono's on Ryan here. We could see Reaper. I suppose it's possible. Yeah,
that is a possibility. Okay, yeah. And we called it right. Yeah, so going alongside with the Reinhardt
This is the best place to run Reaper May is on this section of Lijiang Tower. Control Tower. Control Center, whatever it's called. I always get this wrong.
Center.
Center, okay.
Dropping down into the back, looking for the hit there on a shoe, but Happy already finds Jonak. A nice pin from Mono will result in Eileen being taken out of the fight. As NYXL lose out on their immortality field. Mono with sliver of HP will get cut down. Chara finding that kill. And you can see Hotba barely holding on there as well. Flashbang connects, doesn't get the headshot onto the Lucio, but Sabiobi has overstepped, and Big Daddy Krung has come to the rescue of Happy. They shut down Sabiobi, and Guangzhou Charge have the point first.
I mean, the McCree is the perfect pick to deal with the Reaper. You can outrange him, you can outpoke him. It gives you so much more flexibility, so much more freedom. It also, you know, obviously can help outrange May, because if May is right-clicking, then she's not doing her job right in these crazy brawls on control. So I like the comp here a lot for Guangzhou Charge.
That wall comes up, Happy finds yet another kill. Now falling again, goes on the flank, now is looking for Jonak. Deadeye's gonna be popped. Flux will bring a couple of members of the Charge up into the air, but Chara surviving. Despite the fact that the immortality field has already been taken down. Mono drops a hammer, but doesn't seem to find anything, and in fact will just be met with death by Eileen with a nice sickle to the skull. Headshot there on a Sabiobi as well to follow up for the 2K, and Kwong finishes off Jonak, and this is just already looking...
Yeah, it looks grim.
Very terrifying for New York.
I mean, that's not the Blizzard you want. It's a little bit late. And I think he was hoping that if the Blizzard had frozen some of the targets, he lives a little bit longer. Maybe Sabiobi gets a Death Blossom off and they can turn the fight. But that's very wishful thinking at this stage. That's one of their biggest and best ultimates gone now. They're going to have a sound barrier to help. I mean, Sabiobi gets a Death Blossom off here, guaranteed. But how much value does it get when Krong could just kinetic grasp a lot of that? That's the big question. Eileen's going to Blizzard first.
Yeah, Blizzard has come out. Hoxall and Sabiobi both going to be frozen. Mono tries to go for the pin, but he hits the centerpiece of the point. Oh no, and it is just an instant team wipe. 75% now here for the Guangzhou Charge.
They don't even get the fight
Deadeye,
they want.
Supercharger. Yeah, and the Ant Matrix about to come through. And Amo didn't get to use the sound barrier either.
Sabiobi just now ticking up to the last percentage here on his Death Blossom. They might not get to touch here. Guangzhou Charge is trying to keep them off the point. Nice ice wall here from Hoxall. They're trying to rush towards it. They should be able to get the tag here, but will they be able to win the fight? They need that sound barrier to be a big one.
Make their way over onto the point. The Death Blossom going to be dropped into the backside. Chara going to fall. Now the immortality field cleaned up. Eileen barely survives as he goes into the ice block. He'll be trying to chase forward to get that kill. Instead, we'll go ahead and turn his attention over towards Krong. And YXL finally win the fight. They're finally on the board, right as Charge get to 99%.
There's
Happy, however, he's being sneaky.
Yeah, he's being sneaky, and that's part of the reason why Guangzhou have a lot of hope here in this next fight. Okay, they know where he is. So he thought he was being sneaky, but
he still gets an ammo. He's going to be dead, though. So they will still have to wait for him, and Namo obviously going to be able to rejoin extremely quickly with the Lucio.
But they do get into the
Charge,
point.
they still move their way up.
Yeah, they get through here during this fight, so that's actually a pretty nice boon for them. Shatter comes out.
Finds two. Chara taken down by Sabiobi, who is then swapped over onto the McCree. So good picks, good delays. And YXL buying themselves some much-needed percentage here.
They get through the doorway, so Hoxall doesn't get to have that choke point Blizzard. I mean, he can still have somewhat of a choke point to control here, but it's a much wider one, a much easier one for Guangzhou to go through because they have two options now. They go through left or the right side. So this Blizzard's not going to be as effective as it could have been.
Flux comes through. Maywall to try and deny. Maywall on top of the Maywall to try and deny the sightlines here. They do manage to survive through the Blizzard as well, despite three members being frozen. Happy greeted with an icicle as he rounds the corner, tops up very quickly, and Shu, with a sliver of HP remaining, is trying to steadily get built up here. Seems like he will be allowed to do so. Blizzard is set. Throws this one down. Ice block forced instantly from Hoxall, and Mono going to follow the accretion, but not before he can get that pin onto Charis. It's still an opportunity to try and turn this one around. They need to find some kills, and they need to find them right now. Freeze comes in, however, onto Hot, while the flip is there for the Guangzhou Charge. OT going to start bleeding away. It's down there momentarily onto Mono, who's just got no HP to try and survive. Happy finishes him off. The Maywall will lock out Jonak, and he's dead as he tries to leap over top of it. So 181%, a little bit closer than we might have been thinking at the start. NYXL fight back, but they cannot close out the first round. So Guangzhou Charge, one more round here on Lijiang Tower will net them the victory in the series.
And I think the Happy choice of McCree is so smart when you're running against Sabiobi, because you know he's probably either going to play Tracer, which is hard to play when you have a May out anyways, or he's going to play the Reaper, And the McCree pick is great against both. He ends up having a really nice shutdown on Sabilby non-stop on Sabilby's Reaper for the first few fights. Sabilby never really gets to get the death balls when he wants until the very last second. By that point, Guangzhou has so much time to work with. I think that was just a really smart strategic decision based on the sub alone coming out here from Guangzhou Charge. And I think he's probably going to do it again here. Yeah, right after the teleporter, he's just going to go straight back to the McCree. Sabilby will match him this time and see if this one works out. Sabilby is a very good McCree player, but not quite as known as Happy on the hero.
Yeah. Char as well going to be matching with the Lucio. So I like this. Both teams kind of buying into each other's styles. Rio pulling back. Immortality Field escorts New York forward. You can see them massively displaced. Happy, however, manages to find a kill on the Sabilby. It will be at the cost of Eileen. Into the back line. Happy gets Jonik just moments before he can go around the corner, but will be met with a boot off the side of the map. Rio with a fire strike takes down Hawksall. Now Mono going to be falling as well. So very scrappy and looking a very good start for NYXL, but the Charge will be able to lock this down in the end.
Yeah, I mean, Happy gets...
Namo just kiting back here with Hot Button.
He gets killed, but he does enough. He does enough. He gets them that serious value here. And now New York trying to fight the scrappy fight, but they're cut in 2 pieces.
Immortality, not Immortality, rather the Amp Matrix does reroute them. Rio waiting for his moment. Oh my goodness! Mono jumps straight in front of it. Gets knocked to the ground. They will be able to clean up the enemy Rhine. Now Hawksall falling. A poop off the side from Chara. Sends Hotbutt down in with a Koi Fish.
I'm not entirely sure why or how Mono got to that angle. I think he was looking for his own Shatter because he was about to get that online as well. But he kind of played himself into a corner there where Rio was like, oh, the rest of your team's over here on the bridge where they can't avoid my Shatter, and you're over too far to the left. He got too zoned out. So he had this perfect opportunity for a massive Shatter. Now Mono's going to get his chance to use his, but getting into that position that he was in last time where he was almost able to get off is going to be a lot harder now.
They do have the sound barrier. They've got the Amp Matrix as well. They'll use that first as Mono tries to get into a position to drop the hammer. He's trying to fake for it, but Happy will just find a kill. This takes him down. Likely a flashbang in with a fan of the hammer. Sabilby in the back using the Deadeye. Trying to find a target. Nearly gets eliminated. Gets a little bit of damage there. On to Happy. Almost eliminates him. Flashbang comes out. Char finds the kill. Sends Anamo off the side of the map with the same boop.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking dire for New York. Like, this might just be GG. Look, they have 3 massive ultimates, but they're going to have to get through a sound barrier. Namo's not going to have one, so they're just going to have less hit points in the fight, just straight up no matter what, unless Chara, like, falls off or gets picked early by Sabilby. Then they have to get through a Blizzard and a Deadeye. And oh, this is not a time to show the replay observers.
This is not a time
for the replay. Oh, no.
Oh, boy, Chara. Okay, we get it. We get it. He's going to go forward. He's going to kill 2.
No, this is not
He's going to knock one off. Can we go back into live? Okay, we're going to go back into live. We're not even going to watch it. Instead, we're going to just drop right back into the pandemonium. Hammer gets dropped in and manages to find one. Hawksall pinned into the wall, and things are in dire straits. This is looking like the end. It will indeed be. Unfortunately, we did not get to see the lead up. Maybe we'll get a replay of that. But either way, the Guangzhou Charge with the Blizzards down on the map, the Shatters coming through, close out this series 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Blizzard. It looked like that was the main difference maker there, but Charlie gets play of the game for that replay that we
he does get the play of the game.
That we showed only the lead up to for some reason. I know it's, by the way, forgive our observers, it is tricky sometimes to cut these and put them in at the right moment. And it was definitely something that we would have liked to see, but either way.
I mean, huge play, but
yeah.
not the time and place for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we got kill feeds for. But anyway, that was a really great series. It was the series we wanted in terms of length, I guess. But in terms of high-level play, there were definitely some small issues on either sides. It wasn't like the Game 5 where you're like, oh, this was the best level Overwatch ever. But it was close. It was back and forth. We saw a lot of depth of compositions. We saw Sabilby there at the end. But, man, Happy really closed things out there with his McCree on the last map. What a god.
He did. Just absolutely huge. But the real god of this series is none other than Krong. He is our player of the match presented by Xfinity. There's not really anybody else, I think, that you could give this to. The guy is continuing to perform at such a high level with his Sigma, like we were talking about before, making such a name for himself with this pick, potentially moving towards the best in Asia, one of the best in the world because of that. The guy is just insane.
We just saw on our screen the Luke kills there. Huxall just gets blown up.
Good play.
He gets,
but I didn't want to see
yeah, Huxall gets blown up because he gets stunned with an accretion. Everyone focuses on the right click is trying to knock him and say Bilby off the side, but Huxall dies to the right click and say Bilby is knocked away, while also kind of being hit by the accretion. Great plays by Krong all along. I mean, the guy is really making a name for himself on the scene right now. And I feel like since more and more people are watching Asia this week, it feels like for the first time people have strong opinions about the region and who's good, and it gives me a warm feeling. It's been a fun weekend of APAC Overwatch with you, Achilleos.
It has been. Yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, the great London series yesterday, now coming here. Going to watch Guangzhou Charge win, and having the wrong prediction.
I thought you were going to say that a long time ago. I was waiting for it. But yeah, I'm sorry for my prediction was incorrect, Achilles. It was very close, very back and forth, and I did rub it in a little bit too early there on Anubis. It's definitely not my brightest moment of the cast today. But yeah,
you had your cake and ate it too, but it gave you.
I mean, hey, look, they were ahead, all right. They looked like they were in a really nice spot, but no, did not work out.
Yeah, there's a lot of different old sayings for this. You know, don't count your chickens before they hatch, that kind of stuff. But I mean, it really was up in the air up until the final moment. I mean, Guangzhou Charge just dominated on that last round of Lijiang Tower. So, you know, there were still moments where I was like, oh, you know, it looks like NYXL are going to be able to bring this back. The first round of Control Center is especially, but Guangzhou just pulled out all of the stops. They did not relent. It was a bit of a slow start for them, but once they got going, there was just nothing that NYXL could do to stop them.
Yeah. Well, this puts the kind of middle of the pack for our standings a little bit closer together, with NYXL and Spitfire both being at that 2-2 mark, and you know, Guangzhou Charge kind of staying up there with Shanghai Dragons, you know, still on their 4-0 undefeated win streak. So, I mean, I was saying yesterday I felt like Spitfire looks like a team that could make a run to the finals. I don't know if anyone can beat the Shanghai Dragons right now, but I don't know. Guangzhou, I think they're going to look really, really good once they get all their players back in a functioning roster. Like, to be able to do this well with visa problems and, you know, quarantine, everything else that you and I have dealt with as well, it's pretty impressive, I have to say.
Yeah, they've done phenomenally. We will go ahead and take a look at our standings right now for the APAC region. And like you were mentioning, you know, Shanghai still at the top. Guangzhou just, you know, obviously going to be right below them, but both of those teams just clear-cut above the rest. NYXL is really, really close. Hangzhou Spark previously, you know, on their debut with QOQ and Architect coming into the roster, would have been put in line with those two teams, I would think, but now they kind of rest down alongside the NYXL and the London Spitfire.
Yeah, and poor old Chengdu Hunters down at the bottom. I don't know if there's any comeback for them for this month. They might have to be hoping for the future, but in terms of overall standings as well for the Chengdu Hunters, if you were hoping for a playoff run, maybe a grand finals appearance here in our 2020 season, it seems less and less likely. They really need to turn around. There's not a whole lot of time left right now for the Hunters to make this season happen.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams, you know, clearly that we've seen Hangzhou now in New York and whatnot, having a lot of issues that need to be worked out, but there's still time left to work through the kinks to get things aligned. Guangzhou still, you know, even though they won this series, it's still very close. If they want to be as dominant as Shanghai, there's things that they need to do to improve. I would suggest cloning Krong and running 6 of him. That might be a really good way to do it, but otherwise, you know, we're still having some of the highest competition right here in the APAC region, and it's just been nothing short of phenomenal to see these teams play.
Certainly has. Well, thanks for watching, everybody who watched Asia this weekend.
I'll let you do the outro.
I'll do the outro this time. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Great weekend of the APAC region of the Overwatch League. That's it for us for this weekend, but we will have North American matches coming up in about, this is the hardest part, man. Every time you do this, I'm like 6 hours or so.
Yeah,
I think it's 6 hours and 10 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, if it's the same time as yesterday.
Okay, I don't know what time it is, but that would help if I knew what time it was.
Yeah, I just looked at my watch. So thank you guys for watching. Watch NA. Don't forget, you guys stayed up really late, so you're going to be tired, but don't miss it. And for Achilles and myself, we'll see you next weekend.